look, a strawberry.
Oh, look, a strawberry. I really like it.
Believe it or not, pigeons are actually becoming more and more popular as pets as the day goes on. Media apps like TikTok and Instagram are showcasing more and more of their sweet, affectionate side.
Let's fucking go. Let's go.
But this can beg the question of if some breeds are ethical or unethical. Okay, so the rock dove is the ancestor of all domestic pigeons. And funny enough, it doesn't look that much different from the ones in New York. But that one species gave way to a multitude of breeds that we've bred for color and shape, resulting in centuries worth of selective breeding for specific traits like structure and size and temperament. So what do I mean by selective breeding? That's selecting for traits that you deem ideal in birds that you want to proliferate. Say you have two different breeds that might have specific genes that you want to cross to make a new breed. While all the while, it's important to make sure that you stay on the ethical side of things. Some breeds can be a little overly exaggerated and overly embellished, resulting in birds suffering unnecessarily. While some breeds may look odd but are actually completely fine. These would be called ethical breeds. They might look a little strange, but otherwise they have a completely normal life. Birds with really long necks, but overall pretty normal structure and normal skeletons. Pouters are known for their really weird globes, but most breeds can in fact deflate them and act normal. Then there's an entire family of short-faced birds that are mostly ethical as well, with some exceptions. Breeds like Old German owls and Italian owls. Just look at the cuteness! Actually have similar structures to their racing Homer cousins, and they ultimately have the same skull structure, just shorter. Although you can run into issues where overbreeding is done. I personally keep a lot of ethically bred ones. Now I want to get into the point of this video. We're going to talk about unethical breeds. The English barb is a breed of wattle pigeon that was bred for its large, overly exaggerated caruncles on its eyes. This is a really old breed, and even Charles Darwin used to keep these guys. There wasn't too much information that I could find out about other than the fact the large wattles over their eyes and beaks can hinder them from eating and breathing. Budapest short-faced tumblers are crazy looking. These guys were developed in the late 1800s and they look like literal aliens. Like, who looked at that and said, yeah, I want more of those? Gosh, these things are in a constant state of agony. The African owl is unfortunately doomed for a much worse genetic fate. These guys are bred to basically have no beaks. It's like they've got a pair of keratin lips on their face instead of an actual beak. The breeding standard of these guys has been revised recently because of the controversy that it causes for the health of the birds, especially when this hinders basic actions like eating and preening. Their beaks are so short that their babies have to be fostered under other birds because they can't feed them themselves. This can be very time-consuming for breeders who don't want to have to do that for a certain bird. And it just doesn't make sense to breed birds like that when there are so many options that you could choose instead that have normal beaks and are able to function like normal birds. Moving on now, we're going to look at the parlor roller. This is a really tragic breed, so please be careful with yourself. These guys are bred to tumble along the ground, which replaces their ability to fly. In fact, the action of pigeon bowling is really popular amongst breeders.
I thought it was absolutely horrific. Blatant disrespect and cruelty for animals, and honestly, it's the exploitation of children that shocked me the most.
Wait, hold on a second. Evolution? Evolution? We fully selected these traits and they are not seen in ferals or wild birds. Or so I thought. I actually ended up doing a little bit of research to figure out why these birds even do that and how exactly it works. It was actually really hard to find articles that weren't completely biased, but I found something really interesting in this one. Myotonia congenita. So you mean to tell me this is the same as this?
They fly till they're about 4 months old, and then they start doing a flip or two, and they never fly again.
While the genetics of this bird remain a mystery, the fact that they are cruel and abused constantly is not. Another really tragic breed has to be the American fantail. Probably one of the most notorious unethical breeds. Just looking at this poor guy hurts my back. Don't just take my word for it, these guys are incredibly controversial, causing arguments all over internet spaces, mostly in Reddit and Discord. Jesus, that spine is disgusting. And it's not just for show, these guys literally can't walk. And once again, they have a much better alternative. Their predecessor, the garden fantail, has a normal shaped body and a normal back, and are overall a much healthier bird. And now if you've seen the thumbnail, you know what this next bird is.
This is ham sandwich.
Alright, I'll admit it, these things are adorable. They're a fat chicken bird, what else could you want? So why are they unethical? Well, one could say the same things that make them as popular as they are actually cause a detriment to their health. I mean, come on, a pigeon that has its own figurines can't be unhealthy, right? At first glance, they just look like a big pigeon, albeit grumpy. And oh my gosh, have you seen the babies? Look at that forehead. But Modenas possess many secrets in those ginormous noggins. Modenas are gaining a lot of steady popularity on the internet as companion pigeons. So the main thing I want to know is, are we supporting a healthy breed? Do these guys have a great quality of life? And are they the right fit for most people to keep as pets? Funny enough, I got all those questions answered in this server. Pigeon people have a wealth of knowledge about breeds and traits and behaviors and ethical breeding and unethical traits and all sorts of things like that in this server. And it looks like they don't all share the same love of Modenas as most people do. Outlawing an entire breed seemed crazy, but then I found that they all seem to come back to this one person. So apparently that viral Modena TikToker is also a breeder of these guys. And it looked like she was the only one in this chat who was as enthusiastic about the breed and willing to defend its honor. So let's look at a couple of her bulletins. Let's start with flying. She states that these birds don't really like to fly, but at the same time that they fully can. In some threads saying that they can struggle to fly over a couple feet, and in others saying that they can clear 10 feet with no problem. She likened their flight to that of a chicken. She also talked about their structure and their spinal shape. Now, if you've ever seen a Modena, you've seen this weird stance. The breeder claims that this is purely trained and reinforced constantly. I asked another breeder and they said this. They also provided me with standard pictures, the ones that she also has. Then she went on to talk about the behavior of the birds, saying that their aggression is purely a misconception that people have. When on the contrary, a lot of her own birds were documented to be quite aggressive and overcrowded in their spaces, with multiple pairs breaking up and fighting all the time. She did also admit that the majority of her personal birds have health issues as well as the breed as a whole. This specific strain of Modena has health issues. The classic Modenas that are the typical cute viral birds are loaded with heart issues and joint issues that can cause them pain almost every day. And once again, it doesn't have to be this way. There are multiple types of Modenas, which might not be as cute, but are more normal shaped and have a much longer lifespan. Ultimately, this video is just for awareness. You can do whatever you want to do with your birds, and I support anyone who supports pigeons. You just gotta be mindful about certain breeds that we're supporting, and if quality of life is worth cuteness.